Depression is yet something very delicate to most of people, especially to those who go through or have been going through to the dark moments. And the failure in the life of the businessman Paulo Moraes of 49 years old started when the depression knocked at his door. My work, everything was going well. Many customers, many people, many cars, and then I met somebody and I fell in love and I started dating and then we got engaged and with the idea of getting married, but there were some problems. We broke up and when we broke up without having any chance of coming back, I got depressed and a very big sadness. I would get drunk all the time. And this was a very big disappointment to all my family. And this situation started to get so bad that I could not even work anymore. Many times I would close the doors of my business and I would sit at the floor and I would be crying. I would roll on the floor and crying, even to the point of not having more tears. So this sadness came to me to such a way that I would just think about suicide, dying. This sadness was too big. I lost everything. I have to abandon everything and go back to my parents' house. The humiliation was so big. So listening to my father that I would need to go back to God, go back to where I came from, where I have fallen, like the Bible says, go back to where you have fallen. So in the thoughts of my father, I have to come to the same church where I came from. So and I came back after going through 2 or 3 other churches. So I came back to the one that I was with my dad before. I was part of the choir. I would sing in the choir and I would play together with the band of the church. And I was making service, holding service with the youth, even opening meeting. But the sadness was still there. The depression was still there. I was not feeling conditioned to be before anybody in the church, to sing, to praise, and my life was completely empty and destroyed. This was my revolt. This was my sadness. That was personal, and nobody knew. There was no preaching about sacrifice in the church, about tithes and offering, yes. But many times I would hear about sacrifice, it was something isolated, or either criticize the faith of the people of the Universal Church. One day, one night actually, I was not being able to sleep, so I was passing through the channels and I was listening the testimonies of people who were succeeded, who had an encounter with God. So I would ask, why not with me too? If happened to them, must happen to me too. So one day I stopped and I said to myself, I'm gonna go there. And there was a time of the campaign because they were talking about the campaign in the TV. So they would say about the sacrifice. So I would hear about the campaign and this would call my attention because it was a challenge. It was something that I never imagined myself doing. I couldn't imagine myself doing it. So I got my brother's car to go. If it was mine, if that car was mine, at that day it would stay on the altar. But with the little offering that I had, I went to the church and I remember where it was. So I was ready to go to the altar. And I told God, God, either you change my life or you kill me. Because this that I have is not life, it's a rubbish, it's trash, and I don't want this anymore. It was very clear in my mind, a voice, that what I was doing was serious, that I was going to die on that altar. So that's it, let me die on the altar. But I don't want this life anymore. I climbed the altar and I left my offering of sacrifice. When I came down on the stairs, and I already noticed the depression was gone. After taking part of the campaign, I asked God guidance understanding, and came this idea to open a shop of woodwork. And today I work with a shop of painting and ironing. I started small where it was the woodwork shop, and we start to grow, change to another place, and today we are in a huge place. We also acquire another business, and then we make it together. Today I supply many different fields. So after we start to work with aluminum doors, so today we can supply to other markets. All that God lends to me so I can have, and when He asks, I put on the altar. I've sacrificed days of work, months of work, profit of the business, 1 month of the profit, cars, more than 12 luxurious cars. Today I live very well in our own house, in a safe place. It's all been paid. The altar does not own anything to me. On the contrary, my soul is eternally grateful to this God, and all is His. The altar gave me family. The altar gave me conditions to travel to many places. We've been to Israel. We have traveled all Brazil around. We also have condition to give to our children good education. We have condition to live well, to eat well, to enjoy the best of this land. The greatest asset that I have is the faith. This is the greatest asset that I possess. Is what I'm gonna give to my children. And I tell this to my children, someone who lived without God for many years, and I'm with God for 20 years now, and I teach them the campaign of Israel is a moment of faith. It's a moment where God calls us for us to prove to Him our faith. And I learn to prove to Him my faith and to prove myself too. And I learned that all is on the altar.